Good morning. If people ask which country possessed a long history and brilliant culture, the answer may be India. In today's focus, we are going to introduce India, the world's largest democracy and the second most populous country. It is militarily strong, and it has major cultural influences and a fast-growing and powerful economy.
According to the Global Competitiveness Report, India ranks 60th, and it indicates its growth potential, but also a series of unsolved problems. At the same time, we identify three major areas to evaluate the country, which are economy, infrastructure, and community. Now, Rison will bring up the picture of India's economy.
In fact, one of the most important factors that drives the economy in India will be private consumption. Since labor market in India are expected to remain relatively tight, this will help to continue to support the growth in wages and private consumption. Macroeconomic policies of the Indian government have also helped to support the increase in private consumption by pursuing the price stability over the medium run. Moreover, structural factors are becoming important drivers of private consumption growth. For example, the rise of the middle class in India will help to boost the spending on household durables, automobiles, education, and health care services. More importantly, government policies such as fiscal reforms and some policies to narrow the income gaps and promote inclusive growth will play an increasingly critical role in driving the sustainable growth in the private consumption over the medium run. However, the economy situation has worsened further on the macroeconomic front, with India now 110th in this pillar. The inflation rate and public deficit to GDP ratio were dangerously close to double digits in 2012, and the debt to GDP ratio is the second highest among the BRICS. Indeed, a March 2013 survey of sovereign debt analysis reveals an increased risk of the sovereign debt default over the previous year. One of the key downside risks facing India is the volatility in the financial markets, and this is triggered by the prospect of the QE3 policy in the US. Emerging Asian economies, which ran large current account deficits and were less resistant to macroeconomic risk of capital outflows, such as India, will have to face higher risk. Against this backdrop, managing international capital flows while ensuring sustainable economic growth will continue to be a fundamental matter.
Extensive and efficient infrastructure is critical for ensuring the effective functioning of the economy, as it's an important factor in determining the location of economic activity or sectors that can develop in a particular instance. Well-developed infrastructure reduces the effect of distance between regions, integrating the national market and connecting it at low cost to markets in other countries.
Since the economic liberalization of the 1990s, development of infrastructure in India has progressed in a rapid rate, and today there's a wide range of transport, including land, air, and water. However, relatively low GDP per capita implies that the access to these transports is not uniform. Having only 103 million vehicles on the roads, India's vehicle penetration is relatively low. Comparing to other countries, only 10% of its households owns a motorcycle. With 4.6 million annual production of vehicles, it's believed that its automobile industry and vehicle volume would rise greatly in the future. Moreover, India's overstressed power grid is one of the most obvious signs of lagging developed infrastructure. Power failures can and should be expected daily. Any respectable business or factory in India maintains a diesel generator, and the shopping malls and call centers are built atop huge storage tanks of fuel. Beyond keeping industrial machines and computers running, air conditioning is essential to office work in the hot country, and even service providers must bear the burden of backup power.
Despite ongoing infrastructure projects, India is having the problems of outdated infrastructure and lack of investment in less economically developed regions. A well-developed transport and communication infrastructure network is indispensable for the access of India to core economic activities. As one of the BRICS countries, India plays a potential influential role worldwide. Its economic and political impacts cannot be neglected. However, lagging behind on economy, infrastructure, and community aspects hinder India's pace of development.
India should conduct reform on macroeconomy in order to guarantee a long-term stable development. Besides, the government should also attract foreign investment to facilitate the infrastructure as well as spending more on public service. We hope our advice will give you more insight in India.
Thank you.
Thank you.